Brendan Rodgers, how many times has he said it? 100% he'd be seen out his 3-year contract at Celtic, but it looks like he's jumped before he's been shoved out of the door. To be honest, that's the way I'm reading into it. Dermot Desmond's statement. I've never seen anything like that from a club supremo, if you like, in all my days of kind of covering football. It was absolutely astonishing. 554 word statement. I've never seen anything like it, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Brendan Rodgers has to say in response, because obviously Celtic were wanting to get their side of the story in first.
Yeah, I think we got to the point that I think if the original statement saying that the partner of the ways, I don't think many people would have been that upset. I think it was being, you said it was surprising. It was surprising, but I think there was an inevitability about this parting, given the events of the summer, the increasing displeasure it's been spoken about by the transfer window with the manager, completely at odds with the club's ownership and board. Then you get the kind of behind the scenes briefings. Once that was done, the writing was on the wall. I think no one would have been really surprised if he quit that week. I remember asking him that press conference, were you thinking about quitting? And he said no. I think I'm not saying he boxed himself in a corner, but this saying he's going to do his 3 years. He was kind of handcuffed to it a wee bit until it got to a point, but it really did become almost kind of untenable that you can't operate with a system when you a complete breakdown between the board or majority owner, the manager, the recruitment department, and then it feeds into the players. I think the whole thing had broken down, didn't it? So I think it got to a point it was inevitable. What wasn't inevitable was like you say, was the Dermot Desmond statement, which was, I mean, there's throwing somebody under a bus. There's throwing somebody under a bus that's got a nuclear bomb on it, and then reversing back and forward across the guy. I mean, absolutely nuked Brendan Rodgers. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought it was distasteful. I thought it was slightly unprofessional. I thought there was no need for it. You might have those grievances in private. Digging into dirty laundry like that in public. I mean, you're watching late last night on things like Sky Sports, and the presenters have got disbelief because that's not the kind of thing any club would do. I mean, trying to kind of completely scorch earth a guy's reputation, whether you've got a fan of the guy or you're following up the guy or not, I thought it was really poor. This is the second most decorated manager in the club's history. A guy who's won 11 trophies out of 13. Yes, he's demanding. Yes, he's high maintenance. I've no doubt about it. I think he's awkward. I think he demands a lot. He can be quite stubborn at times. Having got to know him well over the last 10 years, he is very single-minded. But you can't do that. You can't nuke the guy in public like that. I think it's unfair for starters. And what they've done, I think what David has done is actually probably backfire because, as I say, I think a lot of fans have got to the point where thinking a bit of familiarity beats contempt. It's going to be a bit stale. And I think a lot of people would have said, you know what, if he resigned, I think if he even just resigned and left, I think people would have said, you know what, it's been a successful 2 years. It's not working. Wish you all the best. No hard feelings. I think his reputation would be rehabilitated from the last time. It would have been fine. By doing this, they've turned Rodgers into a martyr. Yeah. I think fans will go, wait a minute, that is grossly unfair to a guy who has given his lot for Celtic. As I say, I can't imagine he'd be the easiest manager to work with because he does set high demands, but he's raised the levels at Celtic. I mean, go back 10 years, he's made winning a formality, made it look easy when it's certainly not easy. And what's his crime from the summer? Demanding better players, not trusting the recruitment department, which hasn't really worked for the last 3 or 4 windows. I think. Listen, the truth of the matter will lie somewhere in between the Rodgers stance, which eventually will come out, and the Dermot Desmond stance. It'll be somewhere in between, and both will be entrenched views of how they view the situation. It'll be somewhere in between. The truth probably lies, and it'll be perception because Rodgers will say, "I didn't get what I needed." Dermot will say, "Well, I want a striker. We got you Shinya Yamada. You didn't want to do this, did that." He will say that that's the case, and they'll say, "Listen, they've won all these titles and they're doing the model's worked. We've made this amount of money." I think the way it was the finality of that statement is just so blunt and unnecessary. I mean, saying that the club is bigger than one man is a wee bit of an irony, given the one man who's absolutely running the show. It's like the 34% majority shareholder. There's a wee bit of an irony there, but it's clearly a clash of egos. I think that the upshot is that it had to happen, but the way it's happened has been spectacular, unnecessary, unedifying, what you want to call it. It's all ended up in a bit of a mess. But in terms of Rodgers, I mean, where do you see the kind of the blame game line here, Ryan? What do you think? Who do you think is at fault here, or is that too black and white?
Yeah, I think it probably is a bit too black and white. Yeah, if this is a Celtic kind of PR attempt to almost get fans back on side by kind of unleashing Rodgers, I just don't think it's going to work. I just don't think it's going to wash at all with the fan base. If anything, I think it's just going to worsen matters. You know, I really do. And I can see protests ramping up even further. You talk about Brendan Rodgers. For me, if there was a period where he was going to walk, it would have been after the transfer window. There was a kind of 3 or 4 day period after that where he must have been absolutely reeling with how the transfer window closed. And I thought if he was going to walk, that was the time he would have done it, and he would have left with everyone's best wishes, and the Celtic fans would have fully backed him. So to leave at this stage in the season, you know, I was at the Tynecastle on Sunday. There was absolutely no inclination from Rodgers at all that he was going to walk away. You know, he was saying there's still 29 games to go. It's a long season. He's never been more motivated. He's still extremely confident to be able to turn things around. You know, he seemed like a man that was determined to turn things around and claw back that gap in Hearts. You know, he didn't seem defeated in any way. But yeah, the timing of this departure, I wonder just how quickly it's been arranged. You know, when did this all happen? Was it, you know, it seems to have happened at kind of neck-breaking speed. You know, when were these conversations had? What time of the day yesterday were they had? Because obviously, it's crazy from what we've heard. You know, Brendan Rodgers has been texting people yesterday, and there was no signs that he was off ski. So the whole thing is just it's mind blowing, to be honest. And Dermot Desmond's statement, like you say, I think it really is astonishing. You know, some of the things he's come out with. You know, that Brendan Rodgers has broken the trust of the board. That the Celtic board had committed to a new contract. That Rodgers did sign off every single transfer. That Rodgers had fueled his. This is the most explosive part for me. That Rodgers had fueled hostility towards under fire kind of board members. That's quite something to put at his door. And he also said that this season's failures were down to an individual's desire for self-preservation. I mean, wow, it's incredible, isn't it?